What is up, ladies and gentlemen, it's Scott here, and today I'm excited to bring you a brand new Fallout New Vegas FudgeMuppet build. This is a build that I've had a lot of fun making and playing, and it's called the Warrior. The Warrior was born a tribal savage, but when his tribe descended into obscurity, the Warrior vowed to rise to the top. His ambition made him a killing machine, and his challenging past made him resilient. The Warrior uses huge automatic machine guns to slaughter his opposition, scoring critical hits by the bucket load. But he is also a force to be reckoned with when unarmed, capable of shattering enemies where they stand. He believes that true strength and power is what gives one the right to rule, and because of this, he sees himself as the deserving king of New Vegas. The Warrior isn't going to let any faction prevent his inevitable reign. But first, let's get into the backstory. The Warrior was born in California as a nomad in a broken tribe. He was the only child of a single mother, his father having been slain by the New California Republic. He was the newest member of a once prosperous tribe known as the Khans. This once great tribe was now fleeing east from the NCR. Growing up in such harsh conditions was difficult for children, and the Warrior's survival alone in this time was enough to warrant respect from the average post-war citizen. During his early youth, in the years the Great Khans inhabited the ruins of Vegas, the Warrior began training to fight. The Khans valued strength above all else. It was survival of the fittest, and everything had to be earned. A Khan must be eager and brutal in close combat, and the Warrior excelled. Throughout his childhood, the Warrior learned of the tribe's namesake, the Mongol warlord Genghis Khan, and he was enthralled, resolute in his belief that he could be the next great ruler. His aspirations were seemingly thwarted at every stage, as his and the tribe's existence hung by a thread. At a young age, Mr. House and his allied tribes, the Three Families, laid claim to Las Vegas, and once again the Great Khans were driven out. 3 years later, their new settlement at Bitter Springs was jeopardized by the NCR. The Warrior was now old enough to fight, and he had crafted himself a gauntlet made of sharp steel attached to leather straps. But his people could not match the Rangers on the battlefield, and once again the historically mighty tribe ran with their tails between their legs. The conflict had taken more than just his pride. The Bitter Springs massacre had also taken his mother. He was distraught. His sadness manifested and turned into fury, fueling him to lust for power. The Warrior was sick of running. Despite still being a child, the Warrior's harsh and volatile upbringing had made him powerful, and his desire to learn of the achievements of his forebears had piqued his ambition. It infuriated him that Mr. House and the NCR had defamed his clan. He was bigger than them and far stronger, but they had firearms, while he only had his gauntlet and his bare hands. When his defeated tribe settled in Red Rock Canyon, the Warrior watched as the once great Khans settled for the brewing and selling of chems. He soon realized nothing was going to change and decided it was time for him to go. His people had forgotten what it meant to be powerful, and he had no intention of following suit. At the age of 13, the Warrior severed his ties with the tribe, choosing to forge his own fate. He had learned much of survival and combat over the years, and that would serve to keep him alive in the barren plains of the Mojave. His new focus was to teach himself how to handle firearms. His experience against the NCR's weaponry had helped him realize his potential, if only he too could decimate his enemies at the squeeze of a trigger. The Warrior left his former life behind and adopted the life of a lone wanderer living off the land. He saw the many hazards of the wasteland as a test of might. He dreamed of conquering the Mojave one small step at a time, and that meant taking the jewel of the desert, New Vegas. This opportunity presented itself many years later when the Warrior took a job with the Mojave Express, delivering a mysterious package to the New Vegas Strip. After the ambush, he awakes in the small town of Good Springs and will feel humiliated. He had let the ominous man in the checkered suit get the better of him, and he will be determined to salvage his pride. His short-term goal is to seek revenge on his attempted killer, and he will follow the trail wherever it leads. Despite these new circumstances, the Warrior will not lose sight of his principal ambition. His tribal values instilled in him a belief that only the strongest should rule, and he was not prepared to let any other faction stop him from fulfilling that role. For this reason, he will side with Yes Man. His pursuit of Benny will prove to be a fortuitous coincidence, leading him to the doorstep of the New Vegas Strip, where he will double-cross Mr. House and decide the fate of the Strip himself. His tribe's past encounter with Mr. House will make this decision all the more satisfying for the Warrior. The NCR has played a significant role in turning his once great tribe into a laughingstock, and he will have no qualms when disposing of them. He has a respect for Caesar's Legion, as their success is a testament testament to their power, but he believes they are still not fit to match him for total domination. Much like the NCR and Mr. House, he will annihilate them should they stand in his way. How you act when you decide the fate of the Khans is up to your discretion. The warrior will elect to follow the DLC quest lines, especially Honest Hearts and Lonesome Road, for the unique weapons and armor. At the start of the game, the warrior's special stats are 8 strength, 6 perception, 10 endurance, 1 charisma, 4 intelligence, 1 agility, and 10 luck. As a former tribal surviving alone in the treacherous Mojave Desert, his strength and endurance are a given. His exceptional endurance will ensure the warrior is tough and resistant to his surroundings. He's not the kind of guy who would become dependent on a soft mattress and a hot shower. It will also mean that this tank can take a beating and still keep fighting. As for his strength, this will allow the warrior to wield the heaviest, most intimidating automatic weapons that New Vegas has to offer, as well as the ability to carry heavy loads and be an overwhelming beast should the combat come too close for comfort. Tolerating years and years in the harsh post-war desert is certainly a testament to the warrior's competence, but a pinch of luck is crucial. He persevered through an arduous childhood and a perilous adulthood against all odds, relying on good fortune a lot more than the average Joe would dare to. 10 luck combined with his choice of perks and gear will keep the crits rolling in as the warrior mows down his adversaries in a spectacle of splatter. The warrior's pursuit to become a marksman warrants his respectable 6 points of perception. With this, he will be able to more effectively use his heavy automatic weapons, as well as take the better criticals perk. This comes at the expense of agility. He may reload slowly and move sluggishly, but his strength and endurance makes sure that he can outlast even the most agile of his opponents. The endgame stats that you end up with will depend on which implants you decide best suit the character and the decisions you make on the warrior's rise to prominence. And now let's have a look at the skills. The warrior will have 3 major skills and 2 minor skills. His tag skills are guns, unarmed, and survival, and his minor skills are melee weapons and repair. His proficiency with guns is the focus of this build. He doesn't really rely on charismatic charm, keen intellect, or stealth to overcome obstacles, so it's essential that the warrior can pepper that obstacle with bullets. His tribal background means that he can also take down people in hand-to-hand combat. These 2 tag skills will keep him from ever feeling unprepared in the heat of battle, and his other talent is survival. The crafting items at campfires can keep him stocked up and ready for anything. The melee weapon skill is not the most important, as the build invests most points into guns and unarmed, but it will grant the warrior access to some helpful perks like Super Slam and Unstoppable Force. Finally, the warrior will be adept in maintaining his weapons. Dropping points into repair is highly recommended so he never finds himself running out of firepower. As for traits, the warrior will have Built to Destroy and Hot-Blooded. Built to Destroy is ideal for his high crit chance playstyle. With this trait, all weapons have an increased chance to cause a critical hit, but at the cost of higher maintenance. Fortunately, having points in the repair skill will make this side effect worth the trouble. The Hot-Blooded trait available with Old World Blues adds 15% damage and -2 to perception and agility when health drops below 50%. The warrior's damage output means that an additional 15% can be devastating to foes in a sticky situation. The loss of perception and agility does little to diminish that. Also, the high survival skill means that you can prepare for this occurrence by stocking up on campfire crafted items. The perks we recommend for this build are Finesse, Better Criticals, Heavyweight, Tribal Wisdom, Fight the Power, Piercing Strike, Bloody Mess, Hunter, Super Slam, and Unstoppable Force. The warrior counts on criticals in fights and he fires a lot of rounds, and some of those are going to hit the sweet spot. To supplement this, we have the Finesse perk. This will grant an extra 5% crit chance. Better Criticals will add plus 50% crit damage when landing a critical hit, and the Hunter perk will add plus 75% critical damage against animals. As you can tell, the warrior is a machine for dishing out crits left, right, and center. For those close quarters encounters, we have the Super Slam perk. This means all unarmed and melee attacks have a 15% chance of knocking an opponent down with unarmed weapons or or one-handed melee weapons, and a 30% chance with two-handed melee weapons. When the warrior is going toe-to-toe with the defensive opponent, the Unstoppable Force perk shows its merits. This multiplies all melee and unarmed attack damage by 4 when the opponent is blocking, and if that's not enough, this monstrous mauler can negate 15 points of damage threshold when attacking unarmed or with melee weapons, thanks to the Piercing Strike perk. To top off all these combat enhancing perks, there's Bloody Mess. This perk sums up the warrior's lust for blood and offers a nice little 5% damage with all weapons. Next, we have the essential survival perks to keep the warrior stocked up on high-powered weapons. The heavyweight perk is a must, and with this perk, the weight of all weapons over 10 pounds is halved, affecting both of his primary weapon choices, which we will get onto very soon. The wildlife of the Mojave is no match for this survivalist, and the Tribal Wisdom perk means he will take 50% less limb damage from animals and insects, and he'll have a plus 25% poison resistance. Lastly, there's Fight the Power. This perk grants plus 2 damage threshold and plus 5% crit chance against anyone in faction armor. After all, the warrior is the only one deserving of authority in New Vegas. The ideal aesthetic gear for this build can be found in the Honest Hearts and Lonesome Road DLCs. Until then, metal armor followed by reinforced metal armor will suit the warrior the most. After completing the DLCs, he will wear the Salt Upon Wounds helmet located at Southern Passage upon completing Honest Hearts, and the armor of the 87th tribe found on Gaius Magnus during Lonesome Road. The helmet offers 4 damage threshold, plus 2% critical chance, and plus 5 sneak, while the armor boasts 22 damage threshold, plus 10 AP, plus 3% crit chance, and plus 1 charisma. And in addition, this just looks completely badass. Any unarmed weapons and machine guns will suffice in the early game, but to maximize the warrior's potential, we suggest the light machine gun and automatic rifle. The unarmed options for the final build are the Salt Upon Wounds Power Fist from the Honest Hearts DLC and the Fist of Roar from the Lonesome Road DLC. The warrior travels and fights alone, relying solely on his own capability to succeed. Also, his self-centered ambitions aren't particularly well received by others, which definitely doesn't help. And that's it, guys, our brand new Fallout New Vegas build, the Warrior. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the builds we have on the way. If you enjoyed the video and want to show your support, give it a share and leave a like. It means a whole lot to us. As always, our social media links are in the description for anyone interested. My name is Scott, and I will see you next time.